Entertainment. I am joined by Obi Spencer here on this fine March Madness Friday night. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I got some gears to grind that aren't necessarily related to some of the subjects that I know we were mapped out to talk about. So I will get to those in due time.
I'm the
So
same way.
maybe I'm not fine. Maybe I'm not fine.
But this is the platform for you to become fine, and I'm in the same thing. I got issues all over every vein of life that I can throw at you. So
Excellent. Excellent. So where are we starting today? I know that.
I do want to start first with this Tyreek Hill, this massive trade that ended up coming down between the Dolphins and my competent Jets, to put it that
Okay.
way. And they became uncompetent, or incompetent, I should say. That's the correct grammar. But yeah, so Tyreek Hill enters the AFC East as a member of the Dolphins, and I'm a little bummed out.
I got to tell you, I'm looking at this trade from a completely, totally different perspective than what team got him, what they got him for, and everything to that effect. This offseason, we've seen a lot of wide receivers move. We saw um, Amari Cooper move for almost nothing because he was costing too much. We saw Packers draw a line and they let Devontae Adams move. And we saw Kansas City draw a line and they got a great haul for Tyreek Hill. But
Let's not forget Pittsburgh sending Juju, or Juju going to Kansas City. So all over the place.
Absolutely. The point I want to get to though is that everybody got on Aaron Rodgers. Oh, you didn't take a team friendly deal. That's why Devonta left. Meanwhile, Kansas City had a quarterback who took a team friendly deal, went below everybody's expectation, took 10 years to spread that cap hit out forever. He still didn't get to keep his number one wide receiver. So next time somebody tells me, so-and-so didn't take a team-friendly deal, so-and-so is probably right not to take a team-friendly deal because there's no guarantee that what the team wants and what you want are going to be the same thing, and you're going to lose whomever you're going to lose.
No, I think we need to get to a point where we kind of separate the Brady taking a cut in New England from the rest of the league and what these other quarterbacks are doing per their salary cap hit per team. Look, Kansas City is a fine-tuned run machine there in Kansas City, from ownership all the way down to the head coaching. So look, it's a business. Every business is going to have moves, whether it be positive, negative. Same with every good team.
So you did touch on one of those gears that grind me, and Brady took a team-friendly deal. Look, I know the NFL said there was nothing shady about it, and it was okay to do. But while Tom Brady was taking a team-friendly deal, TB12 company, which he is a part owner of, was hired to work for the New England Patriots and got income from New England Patriots. So I'm glad
it's cyclical revenue.
Yeah, it wasn't his salary, but don't forget that he took money from them in other ways, and the NFL let it go that way. I suggest every quarterback start delving into companies, maybe football tossing. The football shooters, invest in those, and then have your company, your football team pay an inordinate amount for their next football launcher or sled.
Well, Russell Wilson's kind of seems to be the next quarterback that's going to be doing that. That's really going to have his brand, his athletic company coexist with him in the NFL or whatever he's doing post NFL. So I think it's still with him, very early stages, but that's his version of TB12, and I think he's the next quarterback to kind of build that training company empire, so to speak.
Hey, look, the best part of it is if you can get your franchise to pay you that way, and then take the team friendly deal, and then get the team to keep the players that work best for the team, which Tom Brady always knew was the defensive players, by the way. I think that is the bigger difference between Tom Brady and these other quarterbacks. These other quarterbacks are, get me weapons. Tom Brady, what he did say was, Other than Randy Moss, he never said get me weapons. He said keep my defense intact. Keep the other team under 30, and I can do it with whomever you got.
Right.
That was Tom Brady, and there, I'm not a big Tom Brady fan. I got lots to say about Tom Brady, but that I will say, Tom Brady, the one thing he never asked his team to get is he said, "I'll handle the offensive side. You just keep the score low enough on the other side of the ball, and we'll score. We'll score 10 against the Rams in the Super Bowl if you only give up 3."
Yeah, I think with Tom Brady, and another thing is with Giselle, what she brings in is unlike any other NFL wife or fiance outside of Sierra, and even that discrepancy is huge
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Russell Wilson. So it's that part, that part of it too. But now, and you go to Tampa, so you don't have state income tax, so you're getting every penny of your whatever guaranteed contract. So there is the aspect of him saying, I have security in what I have. Let me chill on what I'm personally getting, and obviously that's not new. He's been doing that for years. But that does bring me to kind of where these two topics collide. Rumors of Brady not only forgetting the ownership of the Dolphins, but coming now to the Dolphins. I'm so sick of this. I can't stand it.
I saw that rumor pretty well stomped out that Tom Brady is not going to the Dolphins and is busy recruiting free agents to Tampa Bay. So I don't believe he's going to the Dolphins. I don't see why the Dolphins would want him. Not for nothing. If they were to get Brady, it would increase their chances of winning the Super Bowl this year, for sure. But
Sure.
if they keep Tua, it increases their chances of winning multiple Super Bowls over the next 10 years. And I'm not saying Tua is super duper amazing, but he's young, he's talented. You've put some pieces around him. He may be able to take you to multiple Super Bowls where Brady, you're like, I don't know. He's already retired once. He might retire again. Plus, he might not retire. He just might get hit really hard. Not that Tua doesn't have that problem also, but I think if you are Miami, you're going to stick with your young first round, number 2 or 5 overall pick. Like, this is a guy you picked to be your future. I don't think you're going to trade him for Brady or
Tua, I actually think wasn't he around 8 or 9? I think when the Dolphins ended up, I think it was like 8 or somewhat not low in the first round, but I don't know. I don't think he was a top 5 pick.
He was a top 10 pick.
Yes.
You
I
keep
mean,
talking.
splitting hairs, but still.
Right. No, I do think it is relevant. 5 versus top 10. Where is he?
I still think there's a big jury out on him still.
There's definitely a round 1 pick 5. There's a huge jury out on him. There's no question about that.
I think I fall in that jury as well. I'm still.
There are questions for sure around Tua, but on the other hand, he did lead the league last year with over 70% completion percentage. So there is some things he's starting to do now. You take that accuracy, you get Waddle and Hill crossing 10 to 15 yards out, or 5 to 10 yards out. So if you hit one of those guys with 20 yards left to right to run, they're going to outrun to the corner and zip upfield and turn that 5-yard completion into 15, 20, and who knows how much further after that, which is why he's brilliant to bring there.
No, and then running backs, and you have tight end Gesicki, who I love. I think they can run a very, I don't want to say a kind of dialed back Chiefs style offense, but that between, like you said, Waddle, Tyreek Hill being able to cross across the field, Gesicki in the middle, like they have weapons, they have options. So, but I think this is the year now where Tua, all eyes are on you. This is your year to either make or break.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I'd say this is the first year of make or break. As in, don't do a Mayfield. Be a top 10 quarterback one year and then sink back down to a bottom 10 quarterback. So that's the only difference. But you're right. You can have one of the fastest guys in the NFL going deep, while another one of the fastest guys in the NFL is running a middle cross, leaving one of the more highly touted but yet to fully live up to his potential tight ends sitting in the middle. You are looking exactly at a toned down version because the one thing that I don't think the jury's out on Tua anymore, it is the knock. It is he does not have elite arm strength. He's not your boy
No.
Pennington. He's not Pennington arm strength, but he does not have Mahomes or one guy who I think had great arm strength that's always been forgotten is Flacco arm strength. He doesn't have that kind of arm strength, but 25 yards.
Oh, trust me, as a Jets fan, I have not forgotten Flacco's arm strength.
Right.
Jesus, we're married to him again now. We just brought him back.
Not married, more like engaged.
We're in a toxic relationship. We're on and off again with Joe Flacco.
You guys just keep paying him. I mean, you know what? He's probably good in the quarterback room. He probably is close to home.
No, I get that. Yeah, and I don't, right. From that standpoint, like I would take Flacco over a lot of other quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But other quarterbacks that are being revolved, Deshaun Watson, and then obviously the domino effect of Baker Mayfield and where he lands. For me, this is just Browns just being the same old Browns, man.
Look, I think this is the most highly risky move I have seen in the NFL in an incredibly long time because it's not just that they went with Watson and he's got that baggage. They gave up everything else. They quit on a guy who the fans like if they don't love. And he's an owner.
They loved him. They love. I should love. Not forget past that. They love him.
And they hate that owner. And so if this doesn't work, this can be the first time you see literally a fan base finally get together and say, we are not going to the games and hold out until there's an owner. That because of the baggage he brings and the hate they have for him. If Watson doesn't work out, I suspect he sells the team within 3 years because I think it's just going to be the fans are going to massively just revolt. That's my guess, but there's a 52%, if not greater chance that Watson gets them into the playoffs. The first year he plays 17 games. So
right.
That's the gamble I think he's making, though.
Yeah, it's like you said, there is baggage, and it's not just the fact that you brought Watson over. It was the fashion in which you did. You completely burned the bridge with Baker Mayfield, which if you didn't think that he was going to be angry or upset before, all this came out, then I don't know what you were thinking. Because if there's anything that Baker is a top 5 quarterback in this league in, it's ego. And even we want to call it cockiness, whatever. I'm a fan of Baker. I can't blame him for his reactions at all.
Yeah, like they should have made Houston take him. Like you have to take him. No, you figure out what to do with him once you get in there, whether you want to use Davis Mills or Baker Mayfield. But you want to that's the one thing we'll give you all these. We'll take you all, and you're just going to take Baker. You decide what to do with him. And you could say, for them, they'd be like, yeah, he's just going to be here until we can move him for something else because we have Mills. But
and they supposedly like him a lot.
I like Davis Mills a lot. I think he was when you look over it in the end, he was the best. I think the best rookie quarterback. With all due respect to Mac Jones, he had a lot going on to help him. Whereas Davis Mills was in the single worst situation and still looked good at times. So I think Davis Mills. If that organization gets its act together, which of all the organizations Deshaun Watson wants to go to, like this, he going from one of the worst run organizations to another questionably run he didn't pick the solidly run organization that was interested in him in terms of like the Saints or even the Falcons. Like Deshaun Watson had some say in this, and he chose the Browns. Like, dude.
After reports saying he didn't want to go to the Browns.
Oh, okay. But I thought he had a no trade clause.
He didn't. or he did, and then supposedly he had lifted it for that. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what changed.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, you're right. Reports originally didn't, but maybe it came down to Houston saying this deal's too good. I'm not going to accept the deal. This, no one's meeting this. Maybe Houston said it's either here or you're stuck here, and we're not playing you, and another year wasted. I mean, because Houston could do that if they were, because they aren't paying anything for Mills, who's a late round quarterback pick. So what they're
Right.
paying for two players is still what they're paying for one. So maybe
Sure.
that was what Houston told them. This is way too good for us not to take. And and Atlanta and the Saints may have in the end floated it through their fan base and said no. Like Michael Thomas may have said no, and Michael Thomas will screw it. He won't play. He'll say he's hurt too. Michael Thomas will do that. So Michael Thomas feels a way about him or something, and so maybe that. There's lots that went on that's where he ended up. I was surprised. I think it was the riskiest team to take him. And I think it was an unbelievable amount that they paid for a guy who did not play for a year. I know everyone thinks he's a top 5 quarterback, but the year before that, his team won 4 games. You won more than 4 with Baker. He may not be that guy. He has a big problem. People have already forgotten. He holds the ball too long. For those folks who argue that sacks is a quarterback stat, he leads the leagues in sacks. And by the way, he was great when he had a particular player on his team named Nook, who's now gone. So it will be interesting to see.
Who we have said multiple times, we think he is the best receiver in football.
Right. Yeah. So we will see what Deshaun Watson brings to the table. I did debate whether if he went there, if that division at the time my conversation was being had, does that division compete with the AFC West as the best division? You got we've had maybe with you we had that conversation. I think more free agents have ended up in the AFC West since that conversation, and so now it's not even close. But it certainly looks like if you want to go to the Super Bowl, you should stay in Green Bay or Tampa Bay and have only one team to face, and possibly, like what Dakota Prescott's going to show up and who's there are some other teams, including the defending Super Bowl champ, but the great quarterbacks are all in the AFC right now.
Yeah, for sure. Which is going back to the whole Brady thing coming back. He's not going to come back to the AFC with all that quarterback play. So,
Right.
Yeah, no, forget that rumor. It's just the whole Browns thing with they're coming out and saying, "Oh, we want an adult at quarterback," and then you pick the quarterback with the most immature, to say the very least, just outlandish, ridiculous behavior, accusations, and it's horrible. It's horrible. It is.
Right.
So
Right.
for them, and that's what I'm saying. The Browns just being the Browns, just their whole just hypocritical thinking. Like I can't find myself to even understand what their logic is in the fashion in which they brought Watson and choosing Deshaun Watson. It's mind boggling to me.
It is and I wonder if, by the way, the one other thing is, they gave him that ridiculous deal with the restructuring. He's getting $1 million this year. I wonder if the other two teams were like, no, we're not going to do that for you. We're not going to take the salary cap hit later. I wonder if that was the deciding factor, because that's just crazy. He's getting paid $1 million this year.
Right.
And don't be surprised if the NFL owners decide, we're going to suspend you next year. Well, yeah, you can play this whole season. We're going to suspend you next year. Congratulations, you're not outsmarting us. And Kamish can be kind of what's the word I'm looking for here? Petty that way. Like he can be. Like don't doubt. You try to look. Remember, the real reason that Brady got suspended for 4 games of Deflategate was not Deflategate. It was breaking the phone. So Kamish is petty. He's petty. Don't forget that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so like I said, if I'm Baker, I'm out. Don't even. I'm not even really straight up. Like I'm not returning calls. Like I'm at that level too. So
yeah.
Now where does he go? Where is he? What? is his career path now? Is
I
it
think
backup? Is it a starter again?
it's really going to be a matter of a where he lands, and that's the big issue. So is it, and are they going to cut him, or is he going to get traded? Because if he ends up like, there are definitely teams where he would be a starter. Pittsburgh comes to mind. Um, he'd make a play here in Philadelphia to be the starter. That's a good team.
Him rallying around Philly and vice versa,
Oh yeah. San Francisco, like like most people have Jimmy G over him, and then you got Trey
and
Lance. So
then
San
Trey
Francisco,
Lance in the picture, right?
but Seattle will be very. I mean, New Orleans,
I was gonna say the Saints.
Atlanta, yeah, all those teams that were interested in Deshaun Watson will happily give a lot less up to get, I think, Baker Mayfield. That is my guess.
I
I don't.
personally like the Saints. Think forgetting, especially from Drew Brees, you can throw the whole height and all that aspect of it because they're the same height.
Right.
So at that point, can you plug Baker into a Drew Brees crafted offense, so to speak? Whatever. What I don't know what Sean Payton's deal is, whether and that's another thing too with them.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
mean, the Saints are an interesting organization. They obviously don't have Sean Payton coaching anymore, but they're there. I mean, they're not Carolina. Who's Carolina's quarterback? Your old boy, right? He's still
Sam I
quarterbacking.
yes, Sam I
So
am.
you know, let them do it. They dueled it out once in the draft. Let them duel it out. There's just options there.
And let's not forget Baker's takeoff in this career was that Thursday night, their rookie season,
Right.
beating the Jets,
Yes.
and then Baker became the star he was. So
Yep. Yes.
go
Yeah.
ahead,
So
yeah, go beat him out in training camp. Sure.
yeah. So I mean, I think there's room for Baker in the NFL. As somebody said, he's definitely one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Now,
Yeah.
is he
Oh
closer
yeah,
to
100%.
20 than to 10? Probably. But that means, there's still 12 guys he's beating out, give or take. So, um, you know, 30 of the teams could probably use Baker Mayfield over the quarterback they have, or at least to compete with the quarterback they have. And I don't think any of the quarterbacks coming in this year are better than Baker Mayfield
No,
either.
that's another thing too.
Right.
I would take Baker tenfold over any of these quarterbacks, especially rookie year.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. I'm not even thinking twice about it.
Yeah. So the one team that's not going to get him is Pittsburgh. That'd be the one I'd be most interested in seeing him get, because I would really, get to see him play twice a year against Cleveland. Yada yada yada. Still gets, whatever happens. So that would be interesting. But I don't think that's the one I least expect to see him fall in. I expect to see him in the NFC South up against Brady, because that's the division that needs the most quarterbacks. And if you're in a position to draft one of these quarterbacks, wouldn't you trade that pick for Baker Mayfield? Like, especially with some of the other players that are available in the draft, where you'd be like, take one of these defensive tackles, please, and we'll take Baker Mayfield off your hands.
Right. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, and like I like the Saints, but there is a team that should and could use Baker's services, and it's just a matter of look. If there's a team straight up idiotic enough to roll the dice on Deshaun Watson, you damn well should do it for Baker. So
Agreed.
so
Agreed.
and so that's where I'm at. So another thing, we have March Madness going on today. Is national. I don't know if you've heard this. Today is National Peacock Day.
Is this a coincidence?
Is it? I don't know. You tell me. I think the stars aligned somehow for this.
Okay.
And I honestly, I rolled. JD convinced me. We were talking about this all week on our shows. I really like this St. Peter's team.
they're a fun team to like. They're a nice team to like. I think the reason we've never seen a 15 get away after the first weekend and winning the second weekend is the the two seed overlooks them, or isn't as, or whatever. Then the next seed hasn't had time to look at their tape and was planning on playing the two seed. Now you're playing what? They're playing a
Purdue
seven. They're
three.
playing a three seed who's had some time and knows
Yeah,
now
yep.
that this is a real team, understand the tape, and I think this is where the top 15 teams in the nation usually have really good coaches. Not all the time. And this is where that's, I think, going to matter a lot. I would love to see the Peacocks go on. Who wouldn't? I mean, honestly, who doesn't want to see them go on and continue this journey? But I have a hard time expecting them to do so right now. I think what happens is, like I said, I think when you have a week to prep for them and you know that they're not a pushover, it's a different mindset than when you either have a day or you thought they were a pushover because you were 15. And plenty of 15, we've seen this before, and we have definitely seen this before, but we haven't seen it go further. On the other hand, until a few years ago, we never saw the 16 beat a 1. And that happened. Granted, in other seasons, the injury that affected Virginia that year would have moved that team down to a 2 or 3 seed, it did most famously with Kenyon Martin getting hurt. But they didn't move him down, and then they went and they lost because their best player was gone and their only offensive player was gone. But I digress. I think that it would be a great story. Duke winning it all. Well, if Duke gets out this weekend, it would be a great story. If Jay Wright gets out this weekend, I think we get to talk about, is he now the new best in college basketball? Those are the stories I'm looking at. I'm excited about. But yeah, St. Pete's is a wonderful story. A great story. Would love to see him win 2 games this weekend. Totally shock the world. They would be nothing but cover if St. Peter's. If St. Pete's wins 2 games this weekend, even the NFL will take a backseat to college basketball next week.
Yeah, no, this St. Peter's, especially with the whole universal gambling aspect of it, I put money on them. They're 13-point dogs, which a lot of people are expecting them to cover, if not win. So there is this kind of gravitational pull towards this team, and JD's been saying, like, they're America's sweethearts. They are the darling. They are Cinderella, and being a Jersey team, being the Seton Hall connections for him, they've got some magic, and like he said, they seem like they've been here before.
They seem like they've been here not before, but they haven't been here before.
Of
And
course.
I know
Yeah.
Coach was like, hey, we from Jersey and New York. We ain't afraid. Me, I have a hard time being confident in just that, sort of we can handle it. This is the national spotlight. They have been on campus for a week. Probably most of the time on campus, these kids, nobody even knows who they are. Like, it's just that kind of school where very few people are aware of who the basketball. I mean, even in like a big school,
Right.
There's a certain percentage of kids who don't know who you are. Like at Rutgers, like it's not, always they can fill the rack, but those are the only. That's who they knows who the kids are. But at this school, now everybody knows who they are. Oh, we're in the what? What's going on? Oh, so they're now recognized on campus. And Purdue is number 1 in the country at one point. So
yeah, they were.
Don't forget that. It's tied 17-17, by the way, for those who are interested.
Yes, that game is underway. So, like I said, so you said they're tied, so it's still early on, but I don't know. And like this Doug, man, Doug,
Mark.
The baller.
He's Mark. You know, I call him Mark. If you don't know why we call him Mark,
He is Mark.
so,
He
he
is
is Mark.
Mark.
He's
He's
so
Mark.
Mark.
He is a Mark. But like the thing is though, like, and he just saw. I thought I just saw this thing where he signed one of these NIL deals with Buffalo Wild Wings. So like
Right.
right away, like these kids from any school, like really a school that personally I had never heard of until the tournament.
Oh, I'm right. No, but wait. Even like, can can you imagine how much money Steph Curry would have had before going to the pros had there been NIL? He had that. Oh, he carries Davidson unbelievably, and then he had another year in college, which he would have stayed for, of course, and with an NIL deal, and then got him there again. So
You can go much earlier. Go to Zion at Duke. That year at Duke.
Oh yeah, well I mean
Oh,
that's a big name at a big school. Whereas Steph, even though he was a Curry, was kind of like, I mean, think about it.
yeah,
His
no,
brother was the one who
for
went to
sure,
Duke. His
for
brother.
sure.
So, and who's the other guy?
From
He's
from what?
another
Ja?
3-point shooter, Jimmy.
Oh, Fredette.
Yeah, Jimmy Fredette. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone loves Fredette.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
These guys who like, and everyone knew he couldn't go to the pros. He got in. He was gone quick, but
He had like one game where he went off in Sacramento, but that was it. I think he's playing in China or
right,
something.
right. Because even McBuckets is still playing in a starter.
Dougie McBuckets, he's a baller. He's good,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah, but he wasn't drafted to be the guy. Like
right.
Sacramento stupidly drafted him among many other guys, and look where they are.
Yes, yeah. But
So
yeah, these NIL deals are going to be in college basketball at the tournament time. Every season, there's going to be some guy who you're going to hear about who's never going to go pro. It's just going to college to go to college and is at one of these smaller schools who's going to get the NIL deal that's going to just take off and enjoy a good free couple $1 million to start their life with. And then, that deal's going to be gone. They'll have the money and then they can start their real job and whatever that's going to be. So that's great for them. Or even better, then go, I got a couple million in the bank. Let me go to China and play. Because, I can work for piddles for a little bit because I got this million. So I love NIL. I think the opportunity, what NIL is going to do for people is just going to be great for a lot of these kids.
yeah.
In like last year, softball. I all of a sudden started watching college softball. I don't know if that was a pandemic thing for me or not. But those young ladies, they were exciting and they're going to get NIL deals too. And these various sports where someone just breaks through for just a minute and enough people know, boom, boom. Gymnast, that one gymnast girl who every year they still show her floor routine. I don't know her name, but I know her name because she's been in commercials and getting NIL deals. So I'm excited about NIL deals. But I did say I came on the show to bitch, and here I am happy. So, hey, changed my mood without me even getting to what was bothering me.
No, but I do want to get to that because that at the heart of our show, that's what it's all about. Complaining, not being happy. There's plenty of other shows to be happy. This is not one of them, fortunately. But I do, and it could be, honestly, with these NIL deals, it could be something as small as your local car dealership. You show up on Saturday for 4 hours, take a couple pictures, and you're home by 6 o'clock. It could be that small, pulling in $500 for the day. It could be that small. So these players, men, women, in any level, D1, D3, there is opportunity to be able to get a piece of the pie.
But
and it's great.
It could be even smaller than so. Like my kid is at school. He's not an athlete, so they were able to give him a job at the school because he's going on a trip this summer, and the teachers all knew that he didn't really have spending money because his parents weren't going to give him spending money. So they got him a job. And so he goes in the classroom and he helps the teacher set up. He then is in the classroom while he's in class. And so if the teacher needs help because she's injured in some way or another, he runs, he does something for her, and comes back and he continues to learn. So he's like a TA-ish kind of thing.
Right.
And he gets minimum wage. But it's, once a week, $100 a week, and all of a sudden you save that all up, and you 15 weeks later, you got $1,000 to go to Europe. You could be paying these kids on those NIL deals if you're in a dealership the same crappy level that my kid's getting.
Yeah.
So the dealership doesn't have to spend a lot to get the wrestler from like Soriano in Michigan, who anyone who follows wrestling all knows, and like, okay, come on in. You can't work anywhere else. So yeah, here's $150. Now he might say, no, it's not worth it. I'm not doing it. Give me, he has the ability to negotiate. So some of these kids, because remember, these kids couldn't even have a job. And now they can have, they can work at Wendy's just like any other kid. And their job is to stand there and smile. While the other kid's flipping a burger, paying them the same amount. But at least it puts them on even footing with the theater major, because, they're playing a sport and they don't lose. They lost the ability to earn any money. So for someone who isn't breakthrough, but just somebody who has like, I'll pay someone to stand here and bring a few fans in during the season. So yeah, absolutely.
But so like you said, you came here to bitch, and I want to, and I have some things too, but I want to hear what's on the docket for you.
Okay, so there, I don't know how far down in South Jersey you are. So I mean, in Central where you are. So I don't know if you're aware.
I'm not in Jersey. If Jersey fell off the map today, I would not be affected. I'm in New York. I'm in Rockland County, where if you're familiar with North Jersey, it's about 10 minutes away, very, very close.
Yes. I when I lived in North Jersey, I used to bike ride, and we would consistently go to Rockland County, and then Nyack and suffering for drinking. So fully aware of good old Rockland County.
That's where I am. So,
all right. So in South Jersey, we have this thing called water ice, which is not quite ice cream, not quite Italian ice. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for ice cream, but there are some days where it's a better option. And
is it a snow cone?
It's like a snow cone, but it's better. It's way better than a snow cone. It's not like
So snow cones are underwhelming. They're overrated. Snow cones overrated. I think that's what we should do this summer is get rid of snow cones. It's messy. It's unnecessary. The only good part is the syrup. I could just take a shot of the syrup. I don't need the ice. What do I need the ice for?
When I heard
what this at the bottom of the cone anyway.
When I first moved to South Jersey, I thought that's what my wife was getting me was a snow. I'm like, this is gonna be. I'm like, oh no, this is good. It's creamier than it's closer to ice cream than a snow cone, but that's.
I gotta make a trip now for this.
So there is a franchise here. I'm not going to say their name because I'm pissed at them. That is real big. They don't make the best water ice, but everybody goes there because it's so. There's always one right near you. Everybody has their own ice cream place that they go and they get their water ice and their ice cream or mix them together, and then like just a quick, we're going. Well, what they would do at this place is on the first day of spring, you got a free water ice, and I don't care what the weather was like. There were people there. It could be snowing because it literally was snowing. Sure. And people were getting their free water ice because it was just a great tradition. So this year, because it is a bigger company in their franchise, they've got developed and decided they got an app. And with the app, they had this brilliant idea. It's not just free on the first day of spring. No. In order to make it free, you have to download the app. And then you have 7 days to go and get the free. So it's 7. So I got the app, and then I'm looking at the app. I realized the way me and my family go, it made more sense for my son to have an app and me to have the app. And then we didn't go on the first day of spring, and then it's been crappy ever since. And we're like, well, we'll go the next. They killed the first day of spring tradition. So if you're from South Jersey, you know who I'm talking about. If you think they fucked it up, you're right. I missed my first day of spring water ice, and fuck you, company, even though I still have the app and will be using it. But fuck you.
No, that's fair. Like it does take away the thrill of the one day. The yeah, it does. And I
Oh
don't
my
know this
goodness,
company, but the hell with them. I'm gonna
the
go and find another company's water ice and try
if
this because I honestly I never even heard of this till you brought this up.
yeah. So the closest I can describe, my father has found a way to almost make water ice. So he'll take like one of those frozen Italian ice cups and he'll nuke it for like 15 seconds.
Okay.
And it's almost right. It's it gelato's very close, but gelato's like imagine gelato with like 2% less cream. Like um, it is what it is, and they have it's usually fruitier flavors like pear, peach, and mango, and then sometimes you mix it with custard, soft ice cream. They call it custard, and you get the soft ice cream. It's a wonderful treat. If you ever make your way down South Jersey, I'll take you out for water ice.
I gotta make once the weather permanently. I don't know whether it's the weather down there by you, but it's I don't know
Yeah.
what to expect when I wake up.
It has been like it was 70 and then
So all
40.
right, so
And it's like,
we're in the same boat.
yeah, it went like, it went from a day I was out in shorts to a day like
Yeah,
I was, because it was the next day, then it feels like it's even colder, right? Like you go from 70 to 40, you might as well have gone from 70 to 20. You are so bundled up because you're shocked to the system.
I have. Yeah, no. That kind of brings me to a point that I've had this theory for years that 50 degrees, or even you could push it to 60 degrees in the winter, like a February March 60 degrees is not the same thing as a September 60 degrees.
Yeah, you're
No,
100% right.
it feels like a 15-degree difference.
There- Well, if you have friends who are in Florida and then they come up here and it's 70, they're like, better when they come up here in the winter and it's like 60. They're just like, oh, and you're like, it's beautiful today. What are you even talking
Right.
about?
That's part of it.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay, so I don't feel crazy.
no, you definitely get used to the temperature. Doesn't mean your body behaves differently, but just the way you interpret it definitely is like, "Ooh." Yeah, I totally agree. And then for you, you're in and out of in and out and in and out and in and out all day, so that's even
Dude,
worse.
I'm changing the temperature dial and the like crazy and the windows. I can't on one day have the same like it's
See,
always changing. I can't stay comfortable.
is your truck nice enough to have like you can actually put the thermostat to a number, or is it just a red to blue?
It's a red to blue. It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah, they haven't gotten you the fancy trucks yet.
no. Papa Bezos right now. He's on a yacht with the Paul brothers. So
Is
so
he really?
he ain't worried about me and his mega yacht.
He's trying to sign the Paul brothers to something.
Hey, they're probably working on a deal to maybe exclusively bring their fights to Amazon for all I know.
That wouldn't
Like,
be such a. I don't think.
I don't think it would be. I don't think it would be a terrible idea.
Except
I personally wouldn't give a furry crack of a rat's ass about it, but other people would.
I would. So I would. Which one's the one who's undefeated? Logan.
But honestly, to this day, I still can't pick out which one is which. I think Logan is without the facial hair.
Okay, so I don't know which one is which, but I know one is undefeated. I would like. I've been saying since he first started this, the difference between him and a regular boxer is he is famous enough to make you pay to see him fight tomato cans. I've seen him interviewed enough times to believe it is his goal to win a belt. And he's not goofing around here. He's just in a position that all 15 to 18 of his BS fights that every boxer who gets a championship belt has,
Right.
he's going to get you to pay to see. And that is the biggest difference between him. And he might not get the 15 wins he needs for a champ to say, yeah, I'll take it. Let's have a championship fight. Because no champ's going to take a fight with him if he's 2-0 because they don't have to. And every champ knows, you can't lose to him if he's only 2-0. So But I give the one brother seems to actually be doing this as a goal, and the other brother is just like, he's already lost twice, so you know you're done. You can't lose one of your first four fights in professional boxing, and you're done. It's it. You're over. You no good.
No, so yeah, I think at first I was like, nah, it's a sham. And then after a little while, I was like, okay, especially Logan, like he's taking this seriously. I can't even at that point knock him for anything because if he's genuinely giving this his all, whether he's fantastic at it or that doesn't matter.
Right.
I got to respect that you're literally committed to this, and that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
If you want to use your media platform to pry yourself into that, that's fine. I mean, we saw Tim Tebow do that, and my stupid Mets had to take that up. So you know what? I
Hey,
can't even
hey,
knock him.
that was a
I can't
great
even
deal
knock
for the
him.
Mets. That was a great deal for the Mets. They got
Oh
that
yeah,
minor league system people to come, and they never had to put him on the major league roster. I'm not a fan. Look, but I digress. I'd rather talk about the Paul brothers because the other thing he's doing is he's messing with Dana White. He's trying to get the MMA fighters in better organized into a situation where they are making more
and that's
money.
it. That's Jake.
That's
Jake's
Jake.
doing that.
Okay.
Yes,
All right. All right. So
but
they're
he's
they're they're
yeah
out there.
he's doing it. Yeah.
I mean, because obviously they have a lot of money, and they from acting as children, or they could have done what the twins from Full House did and just started a fashion empire and just make even more money. So, everyone's got their own devices.
And then,
The
then they
Olsen
have
twins.
their sister in who's a superhero in the MCU with Elizabeth. So
Yeah,
they are a okay.
that family's doing well.
But
So,
actually, speaking of that, that kind of is a pretty good segue into the next topic here with Disney Plus. They had recently added the Netflix Marvel shows Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, etc. And apparently, there is a percentage, I'll just say a percentage of parents out there that happen to, I can't even, actually, at this point, I can believe, but they are mad at Disney Plus because they had the audacity to add those shows to their slew of already endless, Marvel page. You go
I,
on. Go on.
so I will say it is my guess that it's a small percentage, but a very loud percentage.
Yes.
Um, but they're crazy and they're wrong. As a parent of older children, your kids are going to be you are going to be uncomfortable with watching your kids watch that for a very small amount of time. And then you're going to be happy it's there for you to watch. That's number one. Number two, if you have two kids, your first kid, as soon as that kid's ready to watch it, that second kid's going to watch it because that's what older children do. They just expose their younger siblings to all the shit that they were not allowed to get when they were younger. I most
Right.
remember my oldest son finally, when he got whatever, one of the, I think it's Xbox, but whatever it was, we allowed him one and only one rated M game. He's 4 years older than his brother. We let him have one rated M game. His brother came downstairs and played the game with him. What the heck? We didn't stop that at all. By the time his brother was 2 years later, his brother was getting all the rated M games he wanted. Like, we just broke. Like every parent. We're like, sure, rated M games, whatever. They really not, that's what happened. So
But are you mad at the game companies or the store that you bought or whatever because they no,
no,
right? That's
no.
idiotic. That's stupid.
That is the only yeah. Look, don't give your kid the Disney Plus password, and you'll be okay. The reason they're angry is they're having the TV babysit their kid, and now the kid's going to accidentally watch something. Um,
Look,
okay,
I
I
can't.
had the TV babysit my kid too. So how about you don't get Disney? Hulu will babysit you, and then we'll watch Disney Plus when we're together. In such a short period of time of your child's life and your family's life, you're going to be happier later when that stuff's on there. That's the thing. You're going to be happier later.
I can't justify the logic of okay, you know this is perfect. You're a parent of older. I'm sure you've done this countless times where you walk into the living room or a bedroom, whatever, and they're watching something, and you don't know what it is, so you're standing there and you're watching it for a minute or two.
It definitely has happened.
Right. Okay. So you ask your son, "Oh, son, daughter, what are you watching?" "Oh, I'm watching Daredevil now on Disney Plus." You've been already watching this for a few minutes, and you know a couple words and the context, and it is a mature show. I'm not saying that every kid should be watching it.
No.
That's not the case, but it is a mature show. So if you're, I'm not gonna stand there and so you're gonna say, "Oh, this is Daredevil," and you're watching it, and you're not going to stand there and be like, that goddamn Disney Plus. How dare they put this show on their platform like that? That I can't justify connecting those dots. That logic just makes no sense to me.
Uh, because I'm telling you, the reality is, as a parent,
Yeah, I don't have kids,
right?
so you
The
give
box,
me that
the
perspective.
box babysits your child. You don't, and so what these parents have done is here's Disney Plus. Watch it all you want. It's safe. I am not worried that you're going to watch something that you shouldn't watch. You're just going to sit there and you're going to just watch Encanto 1,000 times.
Ugh.
Oh, my kid's a superhero fan. They're just going to watch this show 870 times. So every time you walk in there, you come in, they're watching it. On your left, there comes all the holes over. On your left, because kids will watch the same, think as an adult you'll watch, kids forget it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So the problem is now the kids going through and like, oh, what's this new Daredevil thing? The reality is most kids, by the way, if you say to them, you can't watch Daredevil, you can't watch Sarah, you can't watch those shows. Most of the kids who are being babysat by TV will go, okay. And not just my kids. My kids weren't particularly good kids or particularly bad kids, but don't watch that show. Dad said, no, if I see you watching that show, I'm going to be unhappy. Because the other part is, like you said, even when the TV's babysitting you, you're in the out, you're cooking over here, especially now, you're on a work call, you put the call down, you come downstairs.
Right.
You're going to catch your kid. And then as long as you have somebody who punishes your child or gives your child repercussions, you said, I told you not to watch Daredevil.
That's where my problem is.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't justify the outrage because of that. What minor lapse in parenting or whatever aspect of I can't. No, you don't.
Right.
You don't get to complain about that.
It does feel like Disney was babysitting my child, and now I have to put in some work.
And by the way, newsflash world, Disney has been babysitting not just me, you, all of us for years. Dude, it's Disney.
Yeah, no.
Disney owns everything that Amazon and Apple doesn't, or Google doesn't.
Who owns Nickelodeon?
Probably, I don't know. Maybe maybe. Oh, you know what? Let me. Maybe Turner, maybe.
Because I would say this: when my kids were growing up, it was obvious that Nickelodeon and Disney were not connected. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
There was no.
Yes, they felt like it, I mean, it literally felt like the Marvel and DC of like non-superhero.
Yes.
Pop culture.
Yeah. Watching watching SpongeBob. You know who's never showed up on SpongeBob?
Paramount.
Phineas.
Paramount. They're on Paramount Plus, so Paramount owns Nickelodeon.
CBS, which is Comcast. Okay, which is one of the other people who own everything.
It's not like that's fine. Fine.
They're not out there independently on their own. And we're Nickelodeon.
No, but really, at the end of all these companies, it all trickles down to like 10 major companies, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's still insane. Funny. It's still ABC, CBS, and NBC. And then they're owned by a parent company. I think it's Viacom, Comcast, and Disney. I think those are the three big ones
Yeah,
now, as I say it
yeah,
out loud. And most of your other stations are owned by them in some way or other. And then Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Apple hanging in there like for now.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I just,
Yeah, no, I saw a headline or two on that, and my thought was very small group.
yeah, sure.
They let the TV babysit. They're very loud. We're going to hear about it for a little bit, and either they're going to realize I just tell my child no, and if my child does that, there's repercussions. And I'm not telling anybody what those repercussions. I'm using the term repercussions for a reason because every child needs a different repercussion, and then you move on from there. Yeah, I don't want my young kids see, my kids are old enough now for anything, but I don't want my young kids watching Jessica Jones. That's probably not the best option for them. Uh, Daredevil, the first season, depending upon, it also depends on where you draw lines. That's are you an okay with violence but not okay with sex kind of parent? Are you okay with drugs but not violence or sex or whatever your different lines might depend
Right.
which one of those shows is okay for you or not.
Yeah, but just the whole thing be like, Disney, you, shame on you. Shame on you for putting those shows on your plan. I just, no. You can go to hell with that. I don't want to hear that.
And here's the other thing. It's because they're opening it up for more adult things that are going to be on there. It looks like that Moonlight show is not going to be a pleasant show for children.
Oh, no. Moon
Yeah.
Knight, I think, is going to be the darkest of these shows.
Yeah. Like it's going to be. So I mean, the point is either they use the platform for what it is and get their stuff out there and compete with Netflix and Prime and Max and everybody else, or they don't.
Peppa
And
fucking
so
Pig.
what?
Peppa fucking Pig.
Peppa.
Another repeat. Like bro, I can't. Oh, George. Oh, what are we doing today? Sounding like yeah, it drives me nuts. It's like an ice pick in the ear.
Well, why were you watching it?
No, just like because I got the girlfriend and the nieces and the kids. So
Oh.
just a general exposure to this,
I did
and
not.
they
I did
gotta be
not know
jumping
you
on.
had. I did not know you had youngins in your family.
Extended, yeah.
Yeah,
And
gotcha.
they got to be jumping on the Disney, and everyone's got their own thing, and it's just
Oh
at
yeah.
one point it all just comes together and meshes, and I don't. All these shows are the same to me.
Oh, you. If you have kids someday, your children will watch some things that are just like, how can you love this? This is what you love. You're gonna make me watch this over and over
No,
again.
it's funny because there are some of these shows where just preemptively, like when I do plan on having kids fairly soon, and just thinking to me like, yeah, I could watch that with my kid, sure. You know what?
No,
That ain't half bad.
I know there's some you love, even
Yeah.
for the littlest kids, and then there's some like look, as I said on this show before, I think with Scott, and then all of a sudden your kids watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you're like, this is one of the best shows I've honestly ever seen in my entire life. Thank you for introducing this to me. And then Phineas and Ferb, I love Timmy Turner, I like, and then there was like the kid had like my kid loved Thomas, and Thomas was
I
bad.
was on Thomas when I was very young.
Okay. Thomas was bad. And then they made the Thomas movie with Alec Baldwin. I don't know if you saw that. And if you did, you like it. But if you did like it, I would encourage you to go watch it again. Because you'll realize what you made your parents do.
I don't.
If you
I
if you did
maybe if it's probably like this memory that would be unlocked that I probably did, and I just don't.
I don't know when it was made, and you are obviously about a decade older than my kids, so you may have just been, and Thomas again is one of those shows that you watch from like 1 to 4, and then you're done with Thomas.
Right.
Like, Thomas is just probably one of the earliest shows you remember watching.
For me, the early shows was like Thomas and Barney. For me,
right? Yeah. I mean, we used Thomas was involved in potty training. Like that's how young my son was when he was watching Thomas. And there was this Thomas movie, and it was one of the single worst movies I've ever seen. It was like they They paid Baldwin to be in it. I think there was another famous
Was it
actor in it.
was it the one that came out on that blue VHS tape?
Maybe it was on VHS.
I don't know. I weirdly like vividly remember this bright blue VHS tape. Same thing with the Rugrats having that bright. I don't know if you remember the bright orange VHS for the Rugrats movie.
My kids did not
No,
do a
no,
Rugrats phase. They were just
no.
I think Rugrats was kind of gone by the time they were growing up because I had expected to do the Rugrats and then I didn't.
Yeah, I'm a VHS kid. So a lot of these like and then like Barney with like a white or purple one, like these bright colored VHS tapes for some of these kids movies. Like we're talking about it now are like popping into my head.
It is pretty bright colored. Thomas is on it with a yellow claw chasing him, and then Alec Baldwin's on the cover with another little kid. Thomas and the Magic Railroad was the name of this movie, and it was unbearable. And he watched it again and again. And I think he wore out the VHS, and so we got the DVD, and he wore out the DVD. Like it was his favorite thing in the world. It was tough. It was tough. And like I said, then like I told you before, the younger never really was into Thomas because by the time he came around, the older was watching other things, and he just was watching what his brother was watching.
And you just jump right.
Just jumping in. You skipped the horribly young stuff. Although he did have a Teletubby, and there was
Yeah, I watched him, but I was never like a Teletubbies fan.
yeah, he was not like a huge Teletubbies fan, but he did like the younger one when he was in his big television phase. I was actually unemployed, so I watched a lot of TV with him. There was a Chinese show where they taught you Chinese. That was a big favorite of his. So we were working on Chinese, and we could count to 10 in Chinese, and then I got a job. And now I don't think he even can say
And then 11, 12, 13 can't. You just don't know.
No,
you just got a job, and then the rest of the letters, you just the numbers you don't know.
That's right. That's right.
That's hilarious. I don't know, but I'm feeling refreshed now. I got a lot of this weight just.
Yeah, I'm forgiving the lack of water ice or the end of the water ice tradition. I got to bitch about Thomas, which is one of the favorite things in the world to bitch about. So I'm good. I appreciate you hosting tonight.
Yeah, I'm we've been had audio issues right before we started, but I'm glad we got that ironed out because this is good stuff. And
yeah, it's good. It's good to kvetch and get it out there.
It is.
It is.
Oh, speaking of, I'm now that it only took me over an hour for me to remember this, but I'm glad you're here because I wanted to just briefly bitch about why my Miami Heat lost to your Sixers without Embiid and without Harden.
I have a theory on this. I am telling you, the reason Harden and Philly and Embiid were resting to begin with is because who the heck wants to be the 1 or 2 seed and have to play the Nets? Like the 3 and the 4 seeds are the good place to be. I think Miami was trying to lose. The Sixers were certainly trying to lose.
Oh, I don't know. I watched the end of that game. Tyrese Maxey took over like he was goddamn Allen Iverson.
Look, the players, in general, my opinion is
always, yes.
In general, my opinion is a GM can tank, a coach cannot. However, when it comes to playoff seedings,
and an owner can absolutely tank.
Yeah. But like the owner should never ask the coach of the coach and the players should be doing their best to win. The only exception is in the NBA when it comes to matchups. You can start to manipulate yourself for the best matchup because that's not tanking. That is. So now the players on the other hand, that is strategizing. And the players on the other hand are never going to do that because you want your players to play and prepare because every game at this point for the Heat, for the Sixers, for every playoff team, is a practice. It's about gelling. It's about getting better. So how do we play when those two are on the bench? Well, they're on the bench the whole game. So yeah, Maxi's going to maximize. See what I did there?
I like
his
that.
opportunity
I love
when he plays. And was Butler playing that game? Because I know Butler sat the next game.
Yeah. Oh no,
Okay.
They were full man go. They were full throttle. And then, and not only that, to make it even worse, they lose the next night to the Warriors without Steph, that just lost to the goddamn Orlando Magic. So,
But that was the game that. But I saw Butler sat once recently. I thought he was injured, but maybe I guess he was just.
they lost. They've lost, 2 in a row to Sixers, Warriors, but like the Bucks, Sixers, and the Celtics of all on these winning streaks, and they're surging. But my Heat, nah. Let's give up. And yeah, avoiding the Nets now that they're gonna lift the mandate, so Kyrie is gonna be playing now from here on out. It's I'm a little nervous. I'm nervous. Oh no, we're having audio issues. Yeah, we are. See, I spoke too soon about before, and now we do have audio issues. But so you know what? Since we do have audio issues, I'm good to go. If you are, well,
I think I got those audios taken care of. But yeah,
I hear you.
Good, yeah.
Okay,
I hear you.
Okay.
But I'm not on my good mic anymore, so I'm sure our fans are ready to hear us wrap up because this sound is probably a little less than optimal. So
yeah, and we got the second half of St. Peter's and the Peacocks against Purdue,
who are still holding tight. They're down
Yeah.
29-33 at halftime. So the Peacocks are not giving in or not going gently into that good night.
Yes. So if you don't have anything, I'm good to go.
I am good as well.
Awesome. So for us here at Stream Punk Entertainment, wrapping up our What Grinds My Gears episode this March Madness Friday night, that is Obi Spencer. I am Brandon K. Have a good one.